soul of this country isn't right or left. It's normal versus crazy.
You know, guys, it's been a while since I talked about Bill Maher. I mean, it's been a while. And a lot of people that I know that watch Bill Maher, some of my liberal friends out there, not many, but some of the more moderate Democrat-leaning types, they actually like Bill Maher. And they believe that Bill Maher is waking up. And of course, they believe that he's a good fighter against the wokeness. But of course, the thing about Bill Maher is that, as I've said on several occasions, that he will say things that, quite frankly, sound very good and sound like he's starting to turn. But then again, at the same time, you then begin to realize that Bill Maher is not your friend, because Bill Maher, of course, actually helped create a lot of these problems that we have today, especially in regards to the woke, because his channel or his show, Real Time with Bill Maher, created a lot of the NPCs and a lot of the bots that we're dealing with today. Well, the other night he went off on this. All right, he went off on this pretty hard. The thing, though, is that, like I said before, you kind of created this. And at the same time, you're not really helping out. Once you actually boil it down, once you actually look into it, it's going to be the same thing over and over again. Conservative bad, right-wing bad, Christian bad. We got to make fun of these people. We got to tell these people that they're wrong. But at the same time, I'm tired of the woke, so I'm tired of all the craziness. But once again, here we are, listening to Bill Maher, and of course, people out there praising, sharing it, saying, oh my God, Bill Maher is 100% right. Yet during this entire situation, this entire conversation that he has with his audience, he just contradicts himself like crazy. Now, guys, before we look at this, before we get into it, same thing like always. Anything Bill Maher related, we got to put a header over it because of HBO's copyright scheme. Also, something else too, make sure you guys stick around for the full video, because I am going to be talking about what's going to be happening involving the Rumble side of this content, because obviously I need to give you guys some updates on that, and I have posted a couple of videos there. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video, and we will get to that as well. So Bill the other night decided he wanted to sound off on all the craziness. Here's a look at this.
24, America has to go back on its meds. You know, over the holidays, I saw a lot of people, and I asked them all the same two questions. One, have you seen Woody Harrelson? He's my ride. And two, if I said, let's make 2024 the year of blank, what would you say? I was surprised. They all said the same thing, sanity. Let's make this the year of sanity. Everybody thinks we've gone bonkers. And a lot of it is because the far ends on both left and right have gotten way too much attention, which begs the question, how do you suck all the oxygen out of the room and still not get any to your brain?
Okay. Everybody wants sanity. Everybody wants some form of sanity. However, you're asking for sanity in an insane situation, because obviously this right here is an election year. You have a sitting president right now who's got an approval rating below 40%, and he wants this political opposition put in jail. Now, granted, both sides of the aisle would prefer that neither candidate be there, which is probably going to lead to a massive third-party shift. Of course, you would see somebody like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., more than likely, regardless of whether the former president is convicted or not, probably still get in office, because you can still run for president and still get elected, even if you are an actual felon, which, of course, if he was convicted, he more than likely would not be serving any prison sentence due to the fact that you have to impeach a president and actually convict said president in order to lock them up. Now, the Georgia case is a little bit different, but as Alan Dershowitz and many other attorneys have explained, more than likely what would happen in that case is that it would boil down to what do? Do you lock him up with the Secret Service? Do you put him in Mar-a-Lago? What's the deal? You put him on house arrest in his own house, where he's got pretty much access to anything and everywhere. And by the way, he could still run the country from there. The thing is this right here, that wouldn't be much for prison sentence at all. If anything, it would actually be a vacation for him, because he'd still be the president. He could still fly around the country and do whatever the hell he wanted. He just would be mostly confined to Mar-a-Lago, and he'd probably have to go through some sort of signing thing where he's got to sign something off. It's just some very, very crazy stuff. Either way, what I'm saying is more than likely he's not going to go to prison. And of course, if he is confined to something, it more than likely would just be his house. But the thing is this right here, the craziness. So obviously everybody wants things to go back to normal. The far left, the far right. I don't really see that many far right people out there. I really don't, outside just the regular basic conservatives. But then again, though, in Bill's mind, anybody who's right of center is far right. All you got to do is just go look at his past. By the way, a lot of this craziness, you helped. You helped. You rooted for. I mean, do you guys remember when Bill said this?
Can I ask about the economy? Because this economy is going pretty well. We have to, what? Why is that funny?
It is going well for now.
For now, right. That's my, thank you. That's my question. Is like, I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. So
He rooted for a recession to get Donald Trump. That out. That's how Trump deranged this guy was. Okay? That's how gone he is. All right? Just want you to know right now, he's not really your friend. All this crap you see in California is stuff that he voted for, stuff that he quite frankly supported. So in a lot of ways, this little montage that he has is just falling on deaf ears. But let's listen to a little bit more.
it does strike a sane person as crazy. I don't know. If you can ask me, I would start with the fact that I still occasionally see someone driving alone with a mask on. Who do they think they're going to get it from? The lady in the next car putting on her makeup? Or maybe I would say it's the continuing debt ceiling debate. Every time a Democrat is president, the Republicans threaten to tank the world economy by forcing us to take a vote on whether to pay back the money we already spent. No other country does this. It's like eating at a restaurant and then taking a vote on whether to dine and dash. And whoever the Republicans make Speaker of the House, if he doesn't vote for Dash, which he really can't do in the job they just gave him, they try to get rid of him. Congress isn't a deliberative body anymore. It's a rave without a permit in a burning paint warehouse. Insane.
Okay, well, three things. Number one, Bill, those three presidents, Clinton, Biden, and Obama, you supported. You openly supported. So please do me a favor and don't complain, because we already know you're going to vote for Biden again or whoever the Democrat nominee is. All right? I mean, trust me, you probably think, well, maybe he'll support RFK. No, he won't. He's that far Trump deranged, he will still vote for Joe Biden. He'll continue to vote for the craziness. Also, something else, too, the House Speaker. Well, you got a point there on that one. Republicans love to, I guess, get rid of House Speakers. But the only reason why Mike Johnson is under fire right now is because an idiot in Texas named Chip Roy, who, by the way, I've been saying for a long time was fake. I love to call him Chip Soy, especially when you remove his little goatee. He looks like more like a girl than he does an actual man. How do I say that? He was so embedded in the DeSantis camp that he didn't care. He would try to take out the Trump-endorsed House Speaker, which, by the way, it wasn't Trump's first choice. But I do agree with Bill on that one, that obviously the House Speaker does need a little bit more time. If he passes something he doesn't like, you can't just get rid of him right then. You can talk to him, you can negotiate with him, you can do all that stuff there, but you got to at least let him finish out his term. It makes people look a little bit disorganized. But if I remember correctly, the left is always disorganized, so I guess you can call this one with the right a little bit of a blip on the radar. But that thing about people wearing masks while driving, well, let me go ahead and tell you right now, Bill, you've actually got me on that one. I 100% agree with you on that one. There are people where I live at right here in North Carolina who are still driving around with that freaking mask on, who are still driving around with that face diaper. And you know what? They're gone. They're infected. I think about the cycle from The Last of Us, the video game. They become infected, then eventually they become clickers, and then they eventually become stalkers, and then they become bloaters. Actually become stalkers first, then they turn into the monster types. Then eventually turn into bloaters. These people are gone. Forget it. I have had several conversations with people on the left, people that I know, people that I'm actually close with or were close to at one time. These people still believe, these people actually believe that Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, a 70-some-odd-year-old man who weighs close to 300 pounds, was actually physically able to jump through his actual motorcade and choke out a Secret Service agent. A Secret Service agent that probably had Navy SEAL training. They actually believe that he was able to jump through this bulletproof glass and go, pow! And pull that guy's throat out. They actually believe that. That's how far gone these people are. They're useful idiots. And you know what, Bill? You help create a lot of these NPC bot useful idiots. You also help create a lot of the bad actors that we see, okay? You know, I talked earlier about, I showed you guys that clip earlier of him rooting on the recession. Well, there's a guy on the platform named The Aristocratic Utensil. He used to go by Spoon. Very, very good channel. Very funny guy, by the way. I advise you guys to go check him out. I'll probably try to link this video in the description box. He was critiquing David Pakman, who got into it with one of his callers. Now, there are a lot of contradictions out of Dave, okay? But the one I want to talk about the most is the one where they asked about the economy and they asked about inflation. Dave says inflation is down. It's the lowest it's ever been. He's going off a news headline. Of course, we all know that that right there is a bunch of crap. Inflation's through the roof. The price of gas is obviously up. They'll probably lower it a little bit more to try to say that they got some form of victory before the election. This is kind of how these people operate. But he was talking about the unemployment rate. And while 3.7% is very good, people oftentimes forget exactly that a lot of jobs right now, they aren't exactly being pursued. You see, a lot of people have left the labor force. A lot of people have left this, and of course, it's creating a situation where you have underemployment. A lot of people just straight up left the workforce, and you've also got a lot of people at the exact same time who are working 2 to 3 jobs. A lot of those jobs, by the way, are part-time jobs to make ends meet. So obviously, the job rate, the overall unemployment rate is actually going to lower, and the overall job rate is probably going to go up. Of course, you recently had this series where the Biden administration tried to claim the jobs that they added, but of course, they were all seasonal temporary jobs. You're probably going to start seeing some hours getting thrown around here soon, some hours getting taken off of people's schedules, and you're probably going to see some layoffs here real soon. But still at the same time, you have a very, very low labor participation rate at this moment in time. People aren't trying to actually go into the labor market because they understand that working at this moment in time kind of doesn't really help. And also a lot of people, to go on top of this, they're not trying to get part-time jobs because of their current situation. A lot of massive contradictions here from bad faith actors, which of course Bill helped to create. Let's watch a little more.
People's list of insanity is that this guy is going to be president again. It feels surreal that we're in court every day trying to prove Trump wanted to overturn the election, while he's on the campaign trail every day telling everyone they should have overturned the election. It also strikes normal people as insane that Trump fans are perfectly okay with the fact that he was recently asked if he wanted to be a dictator, and he did not say no. Neither did his lawyer say no when a judge asked him, could a president who was not impeached order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival? The lawyer's answer was a qualified yes. Okay, these are not brain teasers. Neither should it have been difficult when presidents of elite colleges were asked if it's okay to call for the genocide of Jews, and they couldn't just say, fuck no. Can anybody just say fuck no anymore? Does anybody even know who to root for anymore?
We got to go after Mr. Trump. We got to go after that right there. And I understand why. He's obviously my political opposite, that right there being Bill Maher. And obviously Trump is going to be the more likely the nominee. And of course, they're going to keep hitting with indictments. Bill, you were the one who was kind of rooting on some of this stuff in the early going. Okay. So, I mean, if he becomes president, don't you think that maybe he would become president because a lot of people rejected the type of nonsense that you've been speaking for years? Did you ever think that may be the case? I mean, a lot of liberals who used to watch your show have woken up and have started to cross over because they realize that you help create the wokeness itself. You, in a lot of ways, help create the dehumanizing efforts against conservatives. But let's watch this final bit.
Fired her. Fired the person trying to stop robbers from robbing his store. That's crazy. But this is crazy too.
If you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot.
Really? We can't come to some sort of middle ground on this? On any issue? Socially liberal but not stupid woke, fiscally sane but not cruel. Is this really that hard? Trans people should be respected and protected, but no penises in women's prisons, maybe? Legalize pot, but maybe stop giving drugs to hard drug addicts? Nikki Haley says America's never been racist, and social justice warriors say there's been no progress since Amos and Andy? A terrorist organization in the Middle East that treats women like slaves invaded Israel last October and shot hundreds of young people at a music festival in the desert. And now America's streets are full of parades in support of the shooters, led by the exact kind of people who would be at a music festival in the desert. That's the literal standard for involuntary commitment, when you're a danger to yourself. I mean,
guys, if there's something that you don't take out of this, if there's something I want you to take out of this, I want you to think about this for a minute. He is saying that former President Trump is saying that it goes too far if you shoot somebody who is robbing your store. I don't know about you, but if somebody steals something and they take off running, and I'm a business owner, I'm probably going to want to put that person down. Okay, a lot of times these people, by the way, who do this are armed. I'm just going to leave that there. Really going on here is that Bill Maher is coping, okay? He is coping with everything that he helped create. He is coping with everything that his ideology helped create. Everybody that's in that crowd, by the way, they're going to continue to cheer, and of course, it's all nothing more than a bunch of walking contradictions. There's another clip that's gone viral, which I'm not going to play here, but I'll link this video in the description box of an MSNBC reporter basically getting told the truth by a conservative. And of course, that entire time, anytime the MSNBC reporter talks, the crowd, of course, cheers. That right there is all a part of this, is because Bill Maher's got his own crowd that are actually cheering him. Now, I'm also going to try to find the Dan Crenshaw one, which I'm not a fan of Crenshaw. If you guys know me, I'm not in favor of Red Flag Dan. I'm not a fan of his. But Red Flag Dan took him on in a discussion about COVID and how it was that former President Trump was basically repatriating Americans that were overseas back to the country. I think I would do that too as president, even though we needed even though at the time the country was locked down. I didn't really agree with that lockdown, by the way. I think maybe the first couple of weeks it was okay, but after that we need to open up. That's one of my critiques of the administration. But still, at the same time, Bill was completely baffled. If he doesn't have his crowd with him, he obviously ain't crap. That's actually what he lives off of. But here's the thing that really bothers me. The other day, and of course, this is going to be a bigger video, which I'll explain a little bit more in the very end, the very next session, when I talk about the Rumble section of my channel, or what's going to be happening in my content. We had Joy Reid recently had the head of Moms for Liberty on. And of course, the topic was sexually explicit materials basically being put in front of children.
Right, that is what?
You just said that
What's
if
your
a child
proof of
feels
that?
seen by this story.
What I'm saying, Joy, you're now making assumptions about it.
Joy, but if a child has been raped, we should do a lot better than put a book on a library
Now you're literally
shelf.
creating a story behind a child that you don't know. Let me show you a form. This is a form that can be obtained in Broward County, Florida.
Okay.
I'm going to show it to the audience, and then I'm going to show it to you. Okay. This is called
Can
the
I see it?
Yeah, please. I'm going to hand it to you.
Thank you so much.
It's called the opt-out form.
Okay.
An opt-out form would allow any parent, because you said you are in favor of parental rights.
I am.
It would allow any parent to opt out of their child being able to take books out of the library without their parents' permission.
Okay.
So that Moms for Liberty, why not advocate that every school in America have an opt-out form so that a parent who doesn't want their child to access a book like All Boys Aren't Blue,
right,
that they can make that choice, because then each parent, including a liberal...
This nonsense out of Bill Maher, the nonsense over the years, and even though he's called this out, he helped create. He helped create this nightmare. By the way, Bill, childless, in his 60s, liberal atheist. It is that type of crap right there, those types of people there that helped create, and I mean help create the situation that we are in. So no, Bill Maher is not an ally, he is not a friend, and quite frankly, he is not allowed anywhere near me for this fight. But it wouldn't be a Bill Maher thing, it wouldn't be a Bill Maher video if there wasn't another parting shot or another very stupid statement. Take a look.
It's a leap year. Did you know that? It's a leap year. We get one extra day. I heard that today. I thought, oh, that's great. And then I remembered, oh, one more day of Trump versus Biden. Fuck no. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, I guess that race is kind of over. Trump won big in Iowa. They had the Iowa caucuses. They had it on Martin Luther King Day. What better way to honor Martin Luther King than the whitest state in the nation, voting for a guy who's going to take you back to the 1950s? Well,
he's trying to assert that obviously the former president of the United States is going to take us back to Jim Crow. I don't know, Bill, if you've noticed this, but ever since Biden has been in office, cities like New York, Boston, they put vaccine passports in place, which, by the way, black people weren't taking the vaccine, so therefore they couldn't go in these restaurants. That sounds like Jim Crow right there. I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there, that wasn't the Trump who did that. That was actually Biden, because obviously this is going to be the shtick going forward. Racist, misogynistic, homophobic, try to dehumanize your opponent. Don't worry, we'll have a video out on that real soon because of what the, let's just say the CEO of JP Morgan said the other day on CNBC. But right now, the 1950s. Well, outside that whole stuff that was going on with the racial tensions, you know, a lot of people of color were actually thriving at that time within their own community. Of course, they eventually would have been assimilation and Jim Crow would have left, but the culture was obviously a little bit better. Also, something else too, in the 1950s, we actually had a pretty strong economy. Our military also, by the way, was also strong, and we were getting a ceasefire in North Korea at the time. 1950s don't look too bad right now. The rest of the world was not burning, and even though it was the Cold War, the entire world was not actually burning down when Eisenhower was in office. 1950s actually look pretty good at this moment in time. Fact of the matter is this right here. Bill Maher is not your friend. He never will be your friend. All he is doing right now is straight up coping. He is not an ally. Remember, Bill Maher helped create a lot of the nightmare that we are in today. And with that right there being said, guys, let me go ahead and break down what's going to happen with the Rumble side of this content. The video that clip came from the Joy Reid. That right there is going to be a video on the situation that's, of course, that's going on in the schools, of course, with the books and stuff, and how it was that Joy Reid, for the most part, got smacked in that interview. The thing is this right here, though, that video is obviously going to be a video that is going to get a yellow dollar sign. So what's going to happen is I'm going to post that video on Wednesday. Any video that is something that may be deemed a little bit too much for community guideline standards, they're going to go on Rumble. Okay, and I'll let you guys know when those videos are posted. I'll try to link the video or link it in the description box for you guys. But anything like that, and even some of the video essays, of course, at the end of the week, the ones I plan on making, I'll probably post those to Rumble as well. Think of Rumble almost like an archive channel, but still, though, there'll be a lot of content there. And, of course, I'll go there if my YouTube channel gets shut down temporarily or anything like that. That's basically what we're going to be using Rumble for. Also, the Gear Issue 33 channel, we're going to go ahead and ramp that back up starting on Wednesday. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be, for the most part, out of town. I'm doing this video on Monday night, releasing it on Tuesday, just giving you guys a bit of a heads up. With that right there being said, make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video. Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Please turn on all your notifications. Share the video. Please leave a comment, like, and I'll see you guys later.